This is a short tutorial to help the Year 9s at Christchurch prepare for their in-class persuasive essay task. I'll just walk you through a few strategies for approaching the in-class essay, so how to go about planning your response, how to structure it, and finally the rubric points that you'll be assessed on. When you receive the unseen prompt, it will ask you to persuade a particular audience to accept a particular position on an issue. For example, the prompt could say, persuade your Year 9 peers that all students should learn an additional language for the duration of high school. Alternatively, it might ask you to address an adult audience like parents or school staff. So in the planning phase of your in-class essay, so this is when you receive your prompt, you need to establish a number of things. Firstly, who is your audience? In this case, it's your Year 9 peers. Second is, what is your thesis, or the position that you'll be arguing? And this is given to you in the prompt. So in this case, it's all students should learn an additional language for the duration of high school. Thirdly, what are 3 reasons that your audience should accept your position? So spend a couple of minutes brainstorming. Each reason you come up with will form the basis of one body paragraph of your essay, so one main idea per paragraph. In this case, the 3 reasons I've come up with are learning a language can be highly enjoyable. That's number 1. Number 2 is knowing an additional language expands our opportunities for the future. It's number 2. And number 3 is that we may regret it if we stop learning a language after middle school. Your intro should start with an interesting or engaging hook to draw your audience in. This can be a personal anecdote, a rhetorical question, some fact or statistic, but ideally it should be relevant to the interests or concerns of your particular audience. Then introduce the issue that you are addressing, so what is the problem or situation, and then you give your position on the issue, so that's your thesis. Briefly outline your 3 main reasons. This signposts for your audience the direction your essay will take. Then you can move on to your body paragraphs. Within each body paragraph, you need to have a topic sentence stating your premise or reason. Your reasoning needs to be elaborated on by examples or evidence to support your claim. This can be things like personal anecdotes, statistics. For the purposes of this task, I believe you can make up statistics or facts. It's a good idea to conclude each paragraph with a summarizing sentence or a link to your next paragraph. You can also improve your structure with things like connectives, which help to order your ideas. So firstly, secondly, additionally, or furthermore, or comparatives. So things like conversely, on the contrary, or nevertheless. Finally, your conclusion needs to restate your overall position, so your thesis. It needs to briefly summarize what your 3 main arguments were, and provide a call to action, so what should your audience do now? You'll be marked on 5 things, so I'll just go over these briefly. 1 is your persuasive essay structure, which I've just gone over. 1 is persuasive techniques. That's things like rhetorical questions, inclusive language, emotive language. Thirdly, your use of language. So this is the level of vocabulary you use, your fluency of expression. And finally, your development of voice. You should be using a kind of vocabulary and a tone which is appropriate for the people you're addressing. So the way you talk to peers would be quite different to how you address school staff or parents. For an adult audience, your language might be more formal, your tone might be more serious. For a student audience, you can probably use more humour, more colloquialisms perhaps. Your anecdotes and supporting evidence should also be relevant to your audience, so try to think what will be persuasive to them. Think about what matters to them, what is important in their lives. Is it having more time for recreation? Is it money, safety concerns, ethical considerations? So that's basically an overview of how to approach the upcoming in-class assessment. Remember to take time to plan when you first enter the assessment. Establish your audience, your thesis, and your 3 main reasons before you begin your introductory paragraph. Best of luck.